Good afternoon. Welcome to Midcap Radar. I'm Reema Tendulkar. With me is Sonal Bhutra, and these are the top stories that we're tracking at 1:30 p.m. this Tuesday afternoon. Midcaps outperform larger peers even as the market struggles for direction. Stocks trade in range near critical levels and growing concerns over high inflation and slowing growth. Auto consumer discretionary stocks gain, while metals and energy drag.
Zee Entertainment gains after NSE puts it back on the F&O list. A move by City Networks to move forward on debt resolution is also read positively.
Vedanta stock dips after dollar bonds of its parent Vedanta Resources take a beating on concerns over its repayment ability, given the government's opposition to the sale of select assets to Hindustan Zinc.
Upbeat management commentary and strong order book outlook gives Railtail Corp a boost. The management tells CNBC-TV18 they expect to close the fourth quarter with 400 crore rupees worth fresh orders and new projects worth at least 1,500 crore rupees next year.
Rain industry swings to profit in the fourth quarter even as margin declines sequentially. The stock gains.
Okay, those are the headlines that we are tracking for you. Good afternoon. But for the markets at the day's low, the weakness continues. We are down 63 points on the Nifty at the 17,329 mark. So there is a possibility that we could see further losses from here and very close to the 17,300 mark. Remember, yesterday it closed just at that 17,400 mark. Midcaps, they are outperforming 0.7% higher on that one, with advanced decline ratio absolutely in favor of the advances. So at the day's high is what Nifty Midcap currently is at. Banks, flattish moves there. It is not falling as much as the benchmarks. Yesterday, it did outperform. Let's see which way things go today. But Reema, despite the positivity that we see in the global markets overnight, that is not something that we are able to at least mirror in our own markets.
Yes, that's because names like ITC, Reliance Industries, IT heavyweights like Infosys, they're all under pressure today. ITC, Reliance Industry, these two big boys are down nearly 1.5%. The key level to track will be yesterday's intraday low, which was 17,300. So that is going to be watched by technical analysts. So even as the Nifty is trading below its 200-day moving average, I think for confirmation of further downside, yesterday's intraday low of 17,300 will be tracked. Pritesh Mehta of Yes Securities is with us now for a few technical trading ideas. Pritesh, afternoon, and thanks for joining in. Thoughts on the day so far, the sluggishness, the downward buys, and your individual trading ideas?
Yeah, good afternoon. Now, see, we need to understand that there is a shift in the trend of the market. So basically, we need to get used to the new trend, which is sell and rise. So we could have a scenario where Nifty is going to underperform global markets. Nifty is going to underperform even emerging market space. In this kind of scenario, the markets won't find it easy to sustain rallies. So the way I look into it, any kind of bounce towards 7,600 would be a sort of a hurdle for the index. On the downside, there are several support playing out. We can have multiple GAN support playing around 7,200. So I think from here on, the tactical move would be to just to buy for a short-term bounce of 7,600. That's the way to play this index right now.
Okay, Pritesh, that's about the benchmark and how to trade that. But what about individual names? Anything that you're betting on?
So yes, see, Midcaps has given us a reprieve today. So yesterday it was Bank Nifty, today is Midcap. So things are a bit turning, in a different way right now. So we need to focus on this space. Consumer durable index is looking very strong. Our customized consumer durable index within this space, Whirlpool has given a good, base breakout. In fact, it's bouncing off 10-year mean. So from here on, we can see strong upside of at least 12% in this stock. The second one, which I like, is Power Grid. Now, see, CPSE index is breaking on the upside. In fact, if you look at the ratio of CPSE index versus Nifty, it is breaking on the upside of multi-month high. So from this space, Power Grid stands out very well. It is creating a base and now breaking, and we can see a upward momentum towards 245 levels.
Thank you very much for that, Pritesh. Let's go across to Vivek now. He's at the big wall, and this is our segment, Midcap Movers. Vivek.
Well, good afternoon. Finally a session where you're actually seeing, the broader end of the markets outperform. And clearly, today you're seeing a little bit of volume and some large moves in select mid-cap names as well. First on our list is Foseco India on the back of very strong earnings. This stock is up almost over 11% in the session. Next, you have JSW Energy. The rally as far as select utility stocks continues. Today is the turn of JSW Energy backed by strong volumes. Uflex we highlighted yesterday, and in the past couple of trading sessions the stock has moved lower significantly sharper on the back of IT raids, etc. Yesterday the company gave a clarification. Today the stock is up almost 7.5%. Two other names on our list, RateGain as well as Data Patterns, too moving higher on the back of good volumes. Some of the stocks where you're actually seeing volumes almost 3 to 5 times the typical 5-day to 10-day average. Lemon Tree is moving higher in the session today with strong volumes. Two fertilizer names, Fact as well as Nagarjuna Fertilizer, doing well in the session. Utilities including BHEL up in the session, and Yes Bank, after a long extended weakness, this particular stock is moving higher with good volumes today. On the other hand, some of the stocks that are seeing weakness, Electra Green Tech, seeing a bit of profit booking after the sharp 30% rally that it saw in the last 3 to 4 trading sessions. RVNL also, moving lower on sharp volumes as well. Endurance Technologies, Chemplast as well as Paytm moving lower with good volumes on the back of weakness that we're seeing despite the broader end of the markets doing quite well.
All right. Thank you so much, Vivek, for joining us. The midcaps are outperforming in a weak market today. For now, we'll slip into a break. Up next, we'll be joined by MK Dhanuka, who's the MD at Dhanuka Agritech, to discuss the business outlook state. Welcome back. Well, let's focus on Dhanuka Agritech now. The company's revenue grew 10% in Q3, but margins slipped. The management said they have received several export inquiries and expect the Dahej plant to come on stream in July. What's the business outlook? How has Q4 been? And what is the chatter around El Nino impacting demand as well? MK Dhanuka, the managing director at the company, is joining us now to discuss that. Mr. Dhanuka, good afternoon. Thank you so much for joining us. Well, you did say that demand has been resilient. How has Q4 been, especially in the light of this discussion that we are having that El Nino could impact monsoons this year? Are you seeing some changes in inventory levels? How is the supply side looking and demand as well?
The Q4 is not as good as was expected because of the lower pest incidence and no rains in the winter season. So moisture level has become less and the temperature is rising, which will have impact on the wheat crop growth. So, but still we are confident to deliver double-digit growth in Q4 as well as for the whole year for March ending 23. So this is about the overall volumes. Regarding El Nino impact, now the government focus is to increase the irrigation facilities and there is availability of water in the dams. So we don't foresee major impact of El Nino on the agriculture sector. But definitely when the rainfall is less, it has impact because in India still we depend mainly on rainfall. So, but we will work hard in the green patches and we will try to maintain the double-digit growth even in the next financial year.
Got that. Mr. Dhanuka, you started off by saying that Q4 is not growing the way you had anticipated. While you are confident about a double-digit growth in Q4, what are those numbers and what was your earlier expectation?
Earlier, we were expecting around 15% plus growth, but now we are expecting around 10-11% growth in the fourth quarter.
Okay. And based on the current patterns on El Nino and other, factors, is there a possibility that this sluggishness could continue even in Q1?
I don't foresee because agriculture is going to happen and the farmers' income is mainly dependent on agriculture. Still more than 60% of our population is dependent on agriculture and we are contributing around 18% in the GDP from agriculture sector. So government focus is also on rural development and doubling the farmers' income, and they are taking a lot of initiatives to basically increase the farmers' income as well as the growth in the agriculture sector.
Got it, sir.
Whether it is loans, whether it is creating...
Yes, sir, we do get that, and that is something that, everyone in the industry has been talking about as well. A couple of questions related to your business itself. You said that you are seeing increased inquiries as far as exports are concerned. I know it's a small number, but how much did it contribute in Q4? How much do you expect it to contribute in FY24 as a percentage of total revenues?
Because we have just started, so it's a startup export division. So it's an infant stage. So initially, we are expecting only 0.5% in the total revenue of the from the export segment. But next year, we hope that we will be able to have 2 to 3% minimum from exports.
Okay.
While you did give us the value growth, could you give us an indication of the actual volume growth?
This year, actually, till half year, the prices were increasing. So the growth was on value terms instead of volume terms. But from the third quarter onwards, the prices are declining. So now the volumes are increasing, and value-wise, it's not that great.
So what are the volumes, sir, for expected volumes for Q4 in the full year?
I expect that the total growth of around 10% will be from volume.
Go ahead, sir. Go ahead. Yeah. So I wanted to check with you on Dahej as well. It has been delayed, the commissioning, but once it does come on stream in July, will you see higher growth than FY23, say high double-digit growth? How much will it contribute to revenues? What would the initial capacity utilization be at the Dahej plant?
Initially, we are putting up only one plant over there for the synthetic pyrothrites. But as informed earlier, we are looking for basically custom synthesis and contract manufacturing. We are going to Japan in the month of March, and we do hope that we will be able to get some molecules from our Japanese principals, and then only the major chunk will come from the Dahej. Initially, we expect around 3% contribution from the Dahej plant in the total revenue.
And initial capacity utilization would be in the limited capacity that you have?
Yeah, to the extent of around 75%.
Okay. All right. Mr. Dhanuka, it was a pleasure speaking with you. Thank you so much for joining us and giving us all those details. So that's the word coming in from Dhanuka Agritech. Higher in trade by 2.5%, and they are talking about the outlook going forward as well. With that, we'll do one thing. We'll sip into a short break. Up next, we have our Midcap Spotlight segment, and we'll focus on grain industry. Stay tuned for that.
Welcome back. Let's get to our Midcap Spotlight segment. Nigel is here, and he's going to be telling us a little bit about Rain Industries and the numbers. Nigel.
Well, Rain Industries, as we know, that they follow the calendar year, so they came out with their Q4 performance. Now, in terms of the top line, there was a growth of close to around 35%, though the EBITDA number didn't climb as much. It was up by close to around 28% or thereabouts. Now, the margins, there was a bit of a compression if you look at it on a year-on-year basis as well as on a sequential basis. On a sequential basis, actually, it's a bit of a disappointment because it's contracted by more than 400 basis points odd. But the stock, remember, has corrected from around the 180 odd mark all the way to around 150. So it appears bulk of the bad news is in the price, and that's why today the stock is trading more or less in the green from the word go itself. So it's up close to around 1% or thereabouts. Back to you.
Okay, thank you very much for that. That's Rain Industries. It's up 1%, come off a bit from the day's high. But another conversation that we had, going for you, and important corporate one, was state-owned telecom infrastructure provider RailTel. Sanjay Kumar, the CMD of RailTel Corporation, told CNBC-TV18 that they expect at least 1,500 crore of new orders in FY24. They were also confident about continuing to win in the railway infrastructure space, even though competition has opened up and private sector can participate and bid for railway infrastructure projects. They're quite confident that the company, RailTel, will continue to win, and they are competitively positioned in that space. Listen into this conversation, and with that, we're out of time on Midcap Radar. Mutual Fund Corner on the other side.
Orders should not be less than 1,500 CR new orders coming in, at least. That is, I would say, a very conservative number from my perspective, the way I see the market. And this Q4 number, I'm sure that I'll be closing it somewhere around 400. There is some difference due to the provisioning which we have done, which is around 39 CR this year. So this is actually is a momentary figure which comes into our statement, and then once we realize it, so most of it is kind of we will realize it. So it will make us better. But yes, there is pressure on margins, and there's competition heating up in the market also because of huge digitization opportunities there. New companies are also joining in, and market is, yes, hot. So we are, of course, we need to have new projects, new orders. So we have to adjust our margins also so that we continue to win, and then make our absolute numbers also growing at the same pace, at least not higher.